Good afternoon. It's been a busy day for Colorado lawmakers at the state capitol.
A Senate committee heard hours of testimony on three major gun bills making their way through the legislature. One aims to expand red flag orders. Another would raise the age limit to buy a gun from 18 to 21. And the third would remove liability protections from gun manufacturers and sellers.
Denver 7 political reporter Megan Lopez is live tonight. Megan, it's been a long day for this committee.
And it's going to continue because they are still debating the second bill. So they've already passed the bill, this committee has anyway, to expand the red flag law. Right now what they're hearing is public testimony that would end immunity protections for some of the gun dealers, the gun manufacturers. We recently met a family that's become really the poster family for unsuccessful lawsuits. They lost their daughter in 2012. They tried to sue. It was unsuccessful, and then they owed money.
On a cold, cloudy day like this, there is a silence here at the 720 Memorial. Serene, perhaps symbolic of the 12 voices that were silenced a decade ago in the Aurora theater shooting, a tragedy.
We are parents of Jessie Gowie
that changed the lives of Sandy and Lonnie Phillips irrevocably.
When she was killed, we started an organization called Survivors Empowered, and we work with survivors across the country that have been affected directly by gun violence. We've been to 23 mass shootings.
More than comforting future gun violence families, though, the couple wanted something to change. So they decided to sue the gun and ammunition companies their daughter's killer bought from.
We knew that the gun industry was not holding itself accountable.
4,000 rounds is what Lucky Gunner sold our killer.
But a Colorado law passed in 2000 largely shields gun dealers and manufacturers from liability. There's also a fee-switching law requiring those who sue to pay the legal fees of the gun companies. The Phillips court case was dismissed, and they were required to pay more than $200,000 in legal fees.
We had to file bankruptcy, and at the time we filed it, I was 73 years old, so there went our retirement.
Losing their home and all of their savings. The couple says the gun industry made an example of them.
If you mess with us, if you mess with the gun lobby, if you mess with the NRA, then you're going to end up like Lonnie and Sandy Phillips in bankruptcy court. And that message was loud and clear.
But now a chance at change.
We're going to hear Senate Bill 168.
Senate Bill 168 would remove immunity protections from the gun industry and require them to come up with a reasonable code of conduct. But opponents say this bill unfairly targets companies that aren't responsible for how buyers use them.
Then we might as well call this bill the Let's Sue the Gun Industry Out of Business bill.
This one really seems to be opening up the gun industry to wild lawsuits for extremely frivolous things.
Comparing guns to the auto industry, saying car companies aren't sued when someone dies in a crash.
If the Sandy Hook families had lived in Colorado instead of Connecticut, they would have never been able to seek justice.
During Wednesday's committee hearing, the Phillips case was brought up time and again.
And it's painful. It's painful to rip that wound open time and time again and talk about your loved one.
Even knowing they lost everything, the couple says they don't regret the lawsuit. They only hope this bill will spare other families from their pain.
I will tell this story until the day I die if I have to make a difference.
So normally when you have major gun legislation like this, what we've seen here at the Colorado State Capitol in the past is an absolutely packed room. There's an overflow room for people that cannot fit into that committee room. There's hundreds of people that sign up to testify, and I can tell you that is just not the case this year. The people that I spoke with who are opposing these bills told me that there's really just kind of this sense of futility, that these bills, because of the Democratic supermajorities in the House and the Senate, that these bills are more or less a foregone conclusion. Instead, the sense that I really got from them is that they're putting a lot of their hopes in lawsuits and trying to successfully repeal these or sue the legislature over them if and when these bills are passed, but really just not the turnout that you would expect to see when you're talking about major gun legislation here at the Colorado State Capitol. Nevertheless, you can expect to see some really long, really robust debate in both the House and the Senate when they make it onto the floor. For now, I'm live at the Colorado State Capitol. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
Yeah, complicated topic and a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much, Megan.
And another gun bill making its way through the legislature would require a 3-day waiting period when buying a gun in Colorado. This bill had its first hearing Monday, and lawmakers cited a 2017 study about gun waiting periods that found that waiting periods can be effective in reducing homicides and suicides. Currently, 9 states and the District of Columbia have waiting periods of various lengths.
We think for like an
kind of a typical state, like an average state, it's maybe about 40 fewer homicides per year, and maybe 17 or to 20 kind of fewer suicides per year.
Now, others there argue that evidence is limited, that waiting periods work. The bill will be debated in the full House tomorrow morning.